Hello, this is Lacey Grimm. I'm here to share with you how to teach a very effective essential oils class. I call this the 3x3 method. Actually, no, I've never called it that before, but we are going to call it that now. Pardon, I have a little bit of a cold, but this information is important. I need to get it out there. So some of you have heard this before, and some of you probably haven't. A lot of it comes from Elise Shedeby. And she's a very wise woman and clearly knows how to build a great doTERRA business. And so I'm taking a lot from that. Some of the things I've added myself or taken away or whatever, but these are great. This is a great way for you to start doing your classes. Try this method. It may be a little different than what you normally use, but it has proven for me to be well worth switching. It took me a while to make it happen and to make it smooth and make that transition from what I was doing before to what I do now. But it has proven really, really a wise choice because the outcome of my classes is generally much better. And the class is also very easy to teach new people. The format is also very translatable into what we call a one-on-one, where we meet one-on-one with someone. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you want to grab some note paper and a pen, you might want to jot some things down. So I'll start with where I start with at a class, and that is where I don't pass out much. I pass out either blank notebook paper and pens, or I have made a very simple class sheet that is not like what you've probably seen before. There aren't a lot of words on it. In fact, it's pretty much entirely blank. There are some images of doTERRA products on it, and that's it. And other than that, it's really kind of very, very basic. And it's like this for a reason, because we really feel like it's important for people to be taking their own notes at a class. And granted, they can do that on some of the other class formats, but this has proven to be, it almost forces people to take notes. And when they're taking notes, they're paying attention. And so that's our goal, right? Is just to make it a very educational experience. So this note-taking method has proven also very effective. So that's one simple thing that you could do. And you could do this in any style class. You don't have to totally alter how you do a class to use that note paper and pen technique. What I found is that when we give people a lot of materials at the beginning of a class, like a booklet or several different pages, they spend a lot of time, even once you start talking, looking through what they have in their hands and not really focused on what you're saying. And so this distraction can kind of lead to either confusion, or they didn't hear something, or, they're so focused on what's coming that they can't think about what you're saying right now. So we really have steered away from using these kinds of materials. All right. So in this class, it's really broken down into sections of 3, and I will share all of those with you. But the first thing is there's an introduction period, and the introduction period is important. So if someone else is hosting this class for you, it's very important that they break the ice and they introduce you and they give you a very warm welcome and talk about how great you are, how smart you are, and how much you know and how to share, and how passionate you are about the oils. They really need to establish that trust for you between the friends that they've invited and you, who is pretty much a stranger. So this is the only way you can really make that bond. And if that bond isn't secured, there's class. So that's the best way to start out a class, is with some words of just lifting the educator up. Okay. All right. So once that introduction has been made, I'll say a few short words about myself. Hi, I'm Lacey. I live in blah, blah, blah. And my husband and I have a small farm, and we use the oils on a daily basis. And we've been with doTERRA for over 5 years. And that's really the basic intro. Not going into my oil testimony or anything like that yet. We'll save that for later. Okay. So, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is I want to tell you what essential oils are. And I always try to open up with a question. So who in the class has used essential oils before? And I like to see the hands go up, and I'll usually ask for some examples of what people have done with essential oils. And you'll get everything from, they're in some cleaners that they have, or the soap that they use, or candles, or, you name it, Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever. They have a myriad of different exposures to what they think are essential oils. And I'll say, that's great. And some people, are coming from other companies, and that's also great. And we're going to give them an opportunity to maybe get an education they never got before, and to experience the best oils, right? So So it's really good to know what angle you're coming at from with your audience. And you may even want to get a feel for what people want you to touch on in terms of their different healthcare needs. So if you wanted to ask that question, so you could say, does anybody have any specific needs that they want to talk about right now? If not, that's fine. We can talk about those later individually. So this is a good warm up. Okay, so then we jump into the class. Okay, so what are essential oils? Essential oils are aromatic compounds found on plants, usually in the stems or the bark or the seeds. It's all different things, and they're distilled so that we can have them in these great little bottles, easy to use, harnessing the power that plants have for our medicinal use. That's pretty much as much as I say. And then we move on to, okay, and so from there, let's talk about the 3 ways to use essential oils. So the 3 ways, no, I'm sorry, I'm skipping the gun, or jumping the gun, jumping the gun. So the 3 cool things about essential oil I'm going to start with first. So there are 3 cool things about essential oils. The first of which is that they are extremely effective. And so we'll pass around peppermint, put it in their hands, let them smell it, put it on their temples. Maybe if some of them have a headache, say, be careful, don't get it in your eyes. Put it on the back of your neck if you're hot-natured and get that cooling effect. Give them all kinds of opportunities and ways that we use peppermint and why. List off some of the reasons, we use it for our different healthcare needs, opening the airways, all these different things, and let them have that really eye-opening experience. And always, share with them how it perks you up. So it's a really good place and great place to start the class. That's how I do it. So that's great. We talked about they're effective. That's the first cool thing. The second cool thing is that they're safe. Okay, so essential oils really come with very little risk when using them. And we'll talk about how to use them in a little bit, but you don't have to worry too much about overdosing, side effects. You don't have to worry about addictions. Well, you do, but oil addicts are always healthier than anyone else, right? Anyway, that's a fun little joke. People like that. But it's really not important to go into too much of the safety of using essential oils right now. We'll have a chance for that later. But in terms of safety, when using essential oils, you may be in danger of touching something you don't love the feeling of on your skin. And that's okay. You can come back and kind of erase it, and we can tell you how to deal with that later. But the risks are very small and rare. Okay. And then the third cool thing is that doTERRA essential oils are inexpensive. And some people may be like, oh, scoffing. You never know. Some people never will. If this is their first exposure, they have no predisposition to thinking anything about what the cost of the oils are. But this is our chance to kind of lay some groundwork and say, okay, so an example of using essential oils in my home looks like my kid wakes up in the middle of the night with an earache, and I grab melaleuca and lavender, and I apply that directly on the ear, around the back of the ear, maybe even a little bit in the ear, just rubbing it in and around. And within a few minutes, they usually go back to sleep, soothed back to sleep, and they may wake up again later that night and have to do it again, reapply. But when morning comes, all the times that we've ever done this, the kid wakes up fine. So the child doesn't need to see the pediatrician, doesn't need to get a prescription. None of those things need to happen. So we've avoided that whole interchange with the doctor just by using some proactive measures at home. So this is a really great resource. And when we compare the cost, of going to the doctor, if you have healthcare, you're still going to have to pay for the gas and take the time and all of those things, and then go get a prescription and all of those things. Whereas with the oils, we did that and we're done. And the cost really of a drop of lavender and a drop of melaleuca together is about 44 cents. So that really kind of puts into perspective what the cost of essential oils is. It's very affordable when you break it down. If every little bottle has 250 doses in it or more, then that a little goes a long way, right? We have a lot in our hand, no matter what the cost of each bottle is. Okay. And that's the 3 cool things about essential oils. So now I take a break and I say, okay, I need a volunteer. And everybody in the class gets quiet and looks around and says, oh, who's going to volunteer? What is she asking us to do? And this is exciting because it's a really great chance for getting some engagement. And I'll tell you, I come to class prepared with samples of all of our different pre-made samples, like the toothpaste and the shampoo and conditioner, the deep blue rub, even On Guard drops and Breathe drops. And these are really convenient and inexpensive and, easy to find, right? And I go to. And so I start pulling that out and looking for a volunteer. And when somebody finally volunteers, usually what happens is they have to work together as a team, as a class, to come up with what the 3 cool things are. Because that's what I say. I say, okay, what were the 3 cool things? So we're just reviewing what we just went over. It's not complicated. So they say, oh, the 3 cool things is they're effective, they're safe, and they're cheap. Okay, so whatever they say. Okay, they get a sample. That's great. That's fun. And they're usually very engaged at this point. Okay, so now I take a little aside and I say, okay, we're going to talk about the next 3 things in just a minute. But first, I want to make sure you're aware that doTERRA is different from everyone else. And I'll share a little bit about what I feel makes doTERRA different. And for me, that's co-impact sourcing. And so I'll take out frankincense and I'll pass frankincense around and I'll say, okay, frankincense is a miracle oil. We use it for all kinds of different things. And I'll list some of those reasons out. But then I'll really share what it means to me that doTERRA does in the world of frankincense. And I try not to get too prolific with information. I try to keep it simple, 3 minutes or less. But I think it's important to talk about how we grow our oils, who we work with in terms of farmers, and all that goes into our sourcing, because it makes a difference in our testing to what we get in the bottle at the end, right? And the market isn't well regulated, and doTERRA has taken on themselves to make sure that these oils are extremely well regulated and very well tested and thoroughly compared and effective and safe for all the 3 uses that I'm about to share with you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the 3 ways to use the essential oils. And first off is topically. And then, of course, I'll talk about some topical uses of the oils. I'm sorry, aromatic. Talk about some aromatic uses, why diffusing is such a great way to use them, how strongly it affects your mood, and so on and so forth. And then secondly, I'll talk about topically. I guess it's not terribly important that you go in that order, but that's what we're all kind of accustomed to. So topically is next, and I'll pass around maybe some Deep Blue, some Digescend maybe, because I really like to show people how you can use that topically on your navel and get a really powerful result. And then I'll share, some tips for diluting and how important it is to dilute in some situations, and how diluting is always a good idea because it always stretches our oils, first of all, but it helps us helps the oils to stay on our skin and penetrate more deeply. Okay, and then lastly, I'll talk about using the oils internally. And I like to pass around On Guard, lemon, as examples of oils that we use internally a lot. All right, so now I need another volunteer. All right, who can tell me, or can you tell me the 3 ways to use essential oils? Okay, and at this point, they should really be taking notes because they want to be the next volunteer. So they're taking notes, and this is a really good experience. They're starting to really engage and be excited about the class fun. Okay, the next 3 parts that we're going to talk about is actually our number 1 selling product, which actually comes in 3 parts. And that is called our Lifelong Vitality Pack. And that includes the Alpha CRS and the Z Omega and the Microplex VMZ. And we go over each of those just shortly, briefly, for each different one, what they're for. And if you don't know this, then you need to know this. But setting the class up this way is really important. We need to have, make it clear that our supplements do something that you can't get from other supplements. And that working together with the oils is what's going to make us feel our maximum wellness, right? Because if we don't have that nutritional foundation, then the oils can only do so much. So we really have to set that up. And sometimes people get intimidated with talking about the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but I'll tell you, it's really, if you have a testimony and experience with it, it's going to help a lot. So make sure you're using it. But for me, it's simple. I talk about how it's improved my energy, it's improved my skin, it's improved a lot of things in my life that seem simple, but all kind of come together when we have the things that we need to get in our diet. So there's that. And I talk about their whole food based and some of those key things. But 3 minutes or less, and this is important. Don't skip that step. All right. So from there, I say our page, we flip over. It doesn't matter if you do that or not, but I say, okay, so now I want you to write just 3 healthcare concerns down on your sheet. And if you've already gotten some ideas, for different oils or products that might help with those and write those down. But we'll actually go around and individually help you a little bit with this resource. And I share a resource, one of my favorite resources, oil resources, The Essential Life or Modern Essentials would be a good option. And share with them, look up a couple of ailments. An example would be look up allergies and see what comes up for allergies, right? That would be a good solution for them. And then we'll take a break in a little bit and we'll go around individually and help you guys come up with the best solution for each of you on these different needs. All right, but before we do that, I want to tell you how you can get these oils. So with doTERRA, you actually have 3 ways to purchase. So the first way is what we call retail. That's where you just purchase an oil or 2 and you pay a full retail price. Now, most people are not going to do that tonight, if anyone, because it's so easy to set up a wholesale account. So our second way is a wholesale account. Wholesale is simple and easy. It's $35. It lasts for a whole year and it gets you 25% off of retail. So it's really simple and easy to enroll with a wholesale account. And then the last way that people purchase oils, and the best way, is less than wholesale. So tonight, you have some options to get the oils at less than wholesale. And then every month, I have an opportunity to order on a regular basis and take advantage of our rewards program where we get money back on every product that we spend. So for new people, it starts at 10% and then it grows up to 30% back. So for every $100 I spend, I get $30 to spend on whatever I want. Plus, I get shipping credits and all kinds of other perks, like opportunities to get free stuff. So this is something that most members like to take advantage of. And we don't have to go into great detail about that now, but just so you know, that's one of the great things one of the great perks of being a member. Good? Okay, good. All right, so now we have another chance for somebody to volunteer. So somebody will raise their hand. You give them the opportunity, and you do that after every 3 section. So you would do that again too after the lifelong vitality. Don't do that probably after the 3 healthcare needs, right? But we will do that after the 3 ways to purchase. Okay, so I've talked about your 3 ways to purchase. And I'm going to show you my 2 favorite ways for people to get started, and the 2 most popular ways for people to get started. And the first one is, and I'll show them the 2 kits that I always show at classes, and I keep it very specific to these 2. Now, other ones might come up in conversation. If I'm talking to someone and they're like, my emotions are off the charts, I'm just really struggling with this emotion and that emotion, and I just don't know how to get it into control, then I might highlight a different one. I might talk about the emotional aerobic therapy kit with them. But for the most part, we talk about the natural solutions in the home essentials kit. And I start with the home essentials and I say, okay, these are our top 10 oils. This is a foundation. This is a base. When you have these 10 oils, you can get rid of almost everything else in your headaches and nausea, and you have something for, and I'll talk about the home essentials. It comes with some of our On Guard products. It comes with free product points, right? So that value on that kit is amazing if you can bite off that chunk. So that's where we really focus our attention. And then I say, okay, so we're going to break up in just a second, and I'm going to go around the room and help you really make up your mind about where to start that's right for you. Before we do that, I want to talk about the 3 types of doTERRA customers. And those are, first, we have what we make a just transformation in their health and see how these products can work for them. And we love our users, their wholesale membership. The second group of people we have in our doTERRA is sharers. And sharers we love. Sharers are people who are sitting here tonight thinking, oh, I should have brought my neighbor, or I should have brought my mom, or I should have brought my sister-in-law, or whatever it is. And they just have this list of people in their mind that they know would also be interested in these products. And those people, we love sharers. Sharers can often earn a bunch of free products, if not even some extra income. And we love to help sharers take advantage of that opportunity. And then lastly, we have builders. And builders are people like me who go around and teach classes and have one-on-ones and just take advantage of the doTERRA compensation plan and make a living doing this and sharing these wellness products. And we call those wellness advocates or builders. And we love our builders, but we just wanted to throw that out there because we have these 3 levels and we support people wherever they're at. So we will never pressure anyone to do anything they don't want to do. But before we separate, I want to tell you that I'm going to call us back together before everybody leaves tonight. And we're going to either eat some peppermint brownies or you're going to have a chance to earn for somebody to volunteer and get another free product. But I'm going to share with you 3 amazing doTERRA tips about the business side of things and what it looks like to build a doTERRA business so that you know to share or build a doTERRA business. And then we break up. Usually what I do, I'm sorry, I lure people back with free stuff and oils. Okay. So I like to bring an oil that's just something that speaks to me for the class. Maybe something that came up. Balance is always a good one. In tune is one. I like to say in tune. I say, okay, everybody, come on. I need you to focus again for a minute. After everybody's kind of filled out their enrollment forms, usually they start mingling. We have to call them back together. Okay. So I say, all right, everybody regather. Let's smell one more oil, whatever it's going to be that's going to draw them back together. Okay. So once they've kind of regrouped, we, what do we do? Oh, that's right. We talk about the 3 business tips, and the 3 business tips are simple. The 3 business tips include 1, talking about building a pipeline or residual income. And that usually I talk a little bit about retention rate at the same time. And you can stop or start wherever you want with that. But building residual income is something not everybody knows what the difference between residual versus like dollar per hour or salary pay is like. So residual is like money that you don't have to work for every time you get paid. You do some work and lay this pipeline, and you can tell the story about the man laying the pipeline if you want to, but usually I don't even get that in depth. I just, say like, look, this is just an opportunity to have income coming in. And for me, I'm going to share a testimony later in a minute. And so that comes up naturally when I share my testimony. But the second cool thing about doTERRA business opportunity is what the potential is. And so I'll say, we have elites in our company, and these is a rank where people, they have about $3,000 in volume, and they can make up to $300 in, earn their products for free and make some additional income. And that's a really great goal for a lot of people. And from there, we got premiers, and premiers can earn up to about $750. And then, it keep going up till about platinum. And then I stop, and I don't want to be overwhelming with the numbers. But then the last thing I do is I share a testimony. And if you don't have your goal doTERRA testimony yet, just find one that resonates with you. Like I have a friend who was able to pay off her student loan debt with her doTERRA business. Or I have a friend who, maybe pays for her mortgage. Or I have a friend who, it doesn't have to be a major story. But if you want it to be, you can tell that. For me now, my story is pretty major. We live off of our doTERRA income. We're a diamond. My husband was able to sell his other business and works with me full time. And we get to do a lot of things. And so I share my testimony. I tell them what it looked like when I was pregnant and very sick and couldn't work my doTERRA business. And yet my income actually grew during that period, because that's what a residual income that with a firm foundation will do. So that's really it in terms of what the class looks like. Now, in order to book classes from a class, which is important, or get more leads from a class, I'll ask people, they might be ready right then. They're enrolling, they're excited. So I'll say, if you know other people who would benefit from this, it's my mission to reach and touch as many people with these oils as I can. This is a referral-based industry. So I would love them and say, ask them if it's okay for me to get in touch with them and just talk to them individually. And so I have people do that right then. And I say, if you do this right now here, and I just have one of doTERRA's keychains that holds 8 vials in it. And I say, okay, for at a class or with the referrals, for every person that I get to talk to and share the oils with, I will fill one of these vials with an oil of your choice. So it's a really great way for you to build and get extra oils that aren't in your kit, that you can have on hand anytime you need them. A stockpile of them so that if people book a class and they jot it, I mean, that date is on the calendar before you leave, then out the door. Same for the referral system. Now, one thing I will add that I hadn't mentioned yet, that now I'm blanking, and what was it that I was going to say? I don't remember. But so these are all, this is how it really comes together and makes it a very simple format. You really don't want your class to last more than 30 minutes. You know, by the time you get to 30 minutes, people are like zoned out and they can't even absorb anything else. So while we may have more information to give them, we're going to save it. That's what I was going to say. So on our enrollment forms that we use now, we actually have a spot for them to fill out their information, for them to choose the kit between natural solutions and home essentials. If they want something else, they can write it down. And then we have a place for them to choose wellness advocate or wholesale customer. We have a place for them to choose if they want to book a class, if they want to share some referrals. And then we have a place for them to book their wellness consult, because this is a key element in residual income, is that support that we have an opportunity to share and give to people who join our teams. And so a wellness consult is something that should come with every enrollment. And that is where you will give some of the information that we don't hit on classes anymore. You know, what drinking lemon out of our glass cups and stainless steel and not plastic, or don't go out in the sun after you put citrus oils on. And if you need help with that, we love the Live Guide. The Live Guide is fantastic. We take it to our wellness consult. We sit down with the person. We help them log into their account. We really want to have a computer in front of us. We help them come up with a 90-day plan of the different products that would help meet their health needs and health goals, and show them what they already have and work them through some of the other products that doTERRA offers, all in like 30 to 45 minutes. And that is a really key element. We like to also give them maybe some little roller bottles and some other things to help them get started using their oils. But that is really how a class looks. And the class is a stepping stone. It's one of the pieces in our relationship with these people. It's not the end. It's almost the beginning. We've sampled, maybe we've introduced them and invited them to the class first, and then we've got the class. And then, of course, it leads into this new relationship that we have with them, where we're helping them with the oils. And so one of the things that we want to follow up with them too is share the other resources that we have available to them as well, whether that's a Facebook group, newsletters, regular classes, that kind of thing. We want to turn them on to those things and make sure that they're feeling involved and part of the system. So that's it. I've done this and shared this all in less than 30 minutes. So I hope that you've gotten enough information from it that you can take it and run with it and improve your classes. I think that you will not regret making the effort to change this way. And if you're interested in those class sheets that I was sharing with you, you can download the PDF. I'll post a link. You can download the PDF and print those as often as you like, both the enrollment form that we've created and the class tear sheet as well. All right, everybody, have a great night and onward ho with these amazing classes.